Also, another match day review, reviewing Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Obviously, we won 1-0. We're now third in the league, behind a point behind City, a point ahead. I think it's a point ahead of Leicester. But yeah, and obviously got Simon who's on his way from Sunday TV, and then obviously got John. How you doing, John?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, well, result-wise, can't complain. Performance was a bit iffy for me, especially the last 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that. Let's go into the starting lineup, and obviously the sub. Ozil again not in the match day squad at all.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any shocks in there? Anything you didn't like about the starting lineup at all?
No, I thought he was going to kind of line up the way he did at United, and he pretty much did. So I didn't really see anything in the lineup that really shocked me. I was a little surprised that Ozil, wasn't even there. So that was a little bit bizarre for me. But I guess given everything you're hearing, even Mertesacker coming out with some statements about Ozil recently, so it doesn't surprise me too much. But he lined up about as much as I thought he would.
Well, yeah, especially just touching on the Ozil. It's like because every day, before the game last game, he's asked about Ozil, and he's saying the same thing. Is it getting to a point now where come January he's going to be out the door, assuming Emery's still there?
Yeah, I mean,
it does seem like Emery's time at PSG where he lost control with certain players, i.e. Neymar, has carried over, and this it's like this time he's trying to make a point. He's digging his heels in no matter what.
Yeah, I think that there's some legitimacy to that. I think I don't think he wants kind of a repeat of what happened at the former club. So, plus I think Ozil's a little bit of a different kind of personality than those players at PSG. I think he's probably a little bit easier to manage than they were. But you definitely can see some parallels between the two. At least maybe he's trying to take a different approach this time.
Yeah, and we'll have to get into the game. 9 minutes in, we go 1-0 up. Did you think we'd kick on and sort of kill the game, or did you believe that we'd do what we did?
Well, okay, so we started off, I thought, really, really well actually, and we were controlling the game, and we were very positive. And I thought that this is great, this is awesome. This is what I've been wanting to see, us actually controlling the game, implementing a tactic, which I said on the Gooner Talk pod a while back that one of the keys for this game was to be scoring early, because Bournemouth have conceded a lot of early goals. And Eddie Howe even came out before the match and said, "Look, we realize what our problem is. We need to not score a lot of early goals, and I said we need to come out and score one early, and we did that. The problem was, like you said, it comes down to do you finish the game out? And then it seemed like we just kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit, and I don't know if that was done on purpose, but it definitely didn't make for the most exciting game afterwards.
No, especially as I said, if we came on there, I was there, and it's like the last 20 minutes were the most nerve-wracking because every time they attacked, it looked like we were exposed, especially on the right-hand side. We were overexposed ourselves, overcompensate on one side.
Yeah.
And you just thought the players like Wilson up front, they're going to score.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we scored it out.
Yeah, and one thing I was thinking was, all right, this is a Bournemouth side who, when it comes to free kicks, are not that bad. They can actually put in a fairly good set piece, and I'm seeing Xhaka, and I'm thinking, okay, look, say whatever you want about him, but he definitely will give away some fouls, which he did in this game. I think he gave 2 or 3 free kicks away in some not too great positions. So I definitely was not comfortable with the 1-0, especially after halftime. I was going, we need another goal. It was not comfortable. No. But look, they came away with the clean sheet, so you can't really whatever. But it wasn't convincing in my opinion.
Well, far from it, but some things we can take out positives. Callum Chambers at right back looks solid yet again.
Yep.
It's nice to see that the Chambers are getting given a chance to prove themselves, and then get rewarded for good performances. Whereas under the old regime, under the old management, it was no matter what, the person could mess up constantly, make these errors to goals. No matter what, they'll keep on getting played, and it's just. Whereas now we're seeing there are consequences to actions. If you don't pick up your form or whatever, you make a mistake, you're out the squad, and this other person will be given a chance. And if they do well, they'll stay in the squad. And we did look solid today. is in most of the game until near the end when we started panicking because we're too busy trying to counter them and everybody leaving ourselves wide open.
Yep.
What did you make of Pepe today? He played 70 minutes?
Yeah. So Pepe is a little bit of an interesting situation right now, I think, and it's a little bit of a touchy subject because I feel like there's a lot of fans that are afraid to criticize him in one way, and then there's some that are the point is that I think that when you look at his performance today, I think that you can't take him his contribution away from the first goal. Obviously, it was from his set piece that we scored the one and only goal that got us the 3 points in the game. And you can make the argument, look, that could have been almost anyone on the pitch, but it wasn't. It was Pepe. So he had a direct involvement in the 3 points today. That being said, I think that it's still a situation of him not assimilating yet. I think that he's just having a lot of problems, and you see the talent there, you see the ability there. It's just not coming together for him yet. I'm not ready to write the guy off. I know a lot of fans have already done that. I think that I would rather it happen sooner rather than later. He got some minutes in the Europa League, which I thought was good and beneficial for him. And I was hoping that he kicked on today. Part of me was thinking like, okay, this is going to be it. And we saw some promising stuff, but then we also saw him dribbling into nothing. We saw him misplacing some passes. So, it's not, I wouldn't say it's concerning the way he's been playing because, there's always an element of being of will he actually come and justify that price tag, which I think is putting a lot of pressure on him. It's just a matter of when will it happen. And I think, it needs to start happening soon. It really does, because I think a lot of fans are losing patience with him. And I think his confidence is not doing any, getting any benefit from him having these kind of performances.
What I tend to tell people though is I'm sort of holding on to myself. I criticise him when he does a bad game, don't get me wrong, but
right.
When Bergkamp and Henri came, it took them a while to adapt from when they came from Serie A, respectively, Juventus and Inter Milan.
Yep.
They got that, but they were given chance after chance, and eventually it worked. It something twigged and it just kicked on for. I'm just hoping that happens with Pepe.
Yeah, totally.
And as I said, we're seeing certain things, but it's finding it hard to adapt. And I've said it to my brother as well, my younger brother. It's essentially because it's so different because you're given all the space in the world to do what you want. Whereas in England, no matter who you're playing, they're on top of you. The pressure, so he's not getting to do what he was used to do. So he's got to adapt, and hopefully, touch what he does. But it's also with some fans that are starting to turn him. It's like they're acting like it was him that demanded the fee. When it was actually the club that he played for. He wanted to leave. He said back end of last season he wanted to go. He said, but they said no, give us another year, then we'll let you go. Okay, fine. And it's Neil that asked for the price of what he went for. It's not him. He hasn't decided that's the fee, but it's everyone's some people are acting like he's demanded that fee, which is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And surely that heaps more pressure on him when he hears. So media what it is now, he's going to hear these sort of things.
Yeah, and I was mentioning this to a couple of buddies of mine earlier. Like we didn't do him any favors with that fee. Like, yeah, I get that that's what we needed to secure the deal, but I think that when you're signed for that much in a new league, not speaking the language in a new country, all of that fun stuff, like that price tag doesn't help the situation. And I get, I'm glad that he's able to get the run out, and the manager seems to be giving him some patience. I think the substitution was a little bit of a message to him. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I very well could be, but I think it was like, hey, look, here's this youngster that's knocking on the door, and he's putting in performances every week. He's doing it, I understand that you're taking some time, but there comes a point where we need to actually have a player there who's performing week in and week out. I'm a little concerned though, because it's a difficult balance for the manager to make that decision, because on one hand, you don't want a player like Pepe to not be able to play, especially how much we paid for him and the talent that he has. On the other hand, however, we don't want a situation where these youth players who are putting in performances week after week are not getting the chances when they're actually doing, what they're supposed to. Granted, I think there's a little bit of a difference in terms of the pressure on both of them. I think there's a lot less pressure on the youth players, whereas I think there's a lot more pressure on a player like Pepe.
Oh, exactly. That's because I can't remember who it was the other day. was on AFTV, said he'd rather have Zaha over Pepe. Why don't we go for Zaha? And I've come back at him and said, well, taking out the account the first up to 0.89 games of this season, what has Zaha done in this league that's so spectacular and so much better than what Pepe's done in the few games that he's had? There's no real difference.
Are you talking about in this season, right?
This season, yeah.
Right.
There's no real difference. But this person's adamant. No, we would be better off with Zaha because he's an Arsenal fan apparently, and apparently he's really proven. But my justification back to him was he's the best player. He's arguably the best player at Palace out of a bad bunch. And you look at his stats, and it doesn't ring well. And you're thinking that you're going to come to a club like Arsenal that are aspiring to get back into the Champions League and improve us.
Right.
You won't give. But someone that's come abroad, you're not giving him literally 2 minutes. That's it. He's written off. Done.
Yeah, and I think the counter argument may be that just we've seen Zaha be able to perform in the Premier League, and we haven't really been able to see that from Pepe. And you know what? That's not saying Pepe has had bad performances. I think he's had okay games. I think it's clear that there's just it hasn't clicked yet. Like you said, it hasn't tweaked where the point now he's I think he's feeling the pressure, I would imagine, right now. And look, it's an interesting comparison between Zaha and him, because I think there's a lot of similarities between the two players, but then there's a lot of differences. And I think that really right now the manager just needs to make sure that he can get the best out of the player, and he needs to do what he needs to do. Pepe to just kind of ease the pressure and try to perform as best as he can given the situation.
It's just move on to the other part of the site in front for Aubameyang. Was one of his quietest games this season, arguably his quietest games this season. Really didn't really do much. But then he didn't really get given him much opportunity to do anything. From what I could see himself, I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to find it right now, but there was an interesting. So this was, there's a stat. Let me pull it up real quick. So this was actually the first. Let me see. Sorry. Okay, today was the first that Arsenal have won a Premier League game without a goal from either Lacazette or Aubameyang since December 2018, and that was when Lucas Torreira scored 1-0 over Huddersfield. So, look, that says a lot about where our goals are coming from and how prolific both Lacazette and Aubameyang have been. Now, I agree with you. I think he had a quiet game. He did. He had a very quiet game, but at the same time, I think he was involved in a lot of the attacking play. What attacking play there was, because I thought that it was very pedestrian in a lot of parts. And Aubameyang tends to have these kind of games every once in a while. He's had over a 33% conversion rate, which I've said before is not something that's sustainable over a long period of time. I think he was hitting a purple patch of clinical finishing. Hopefully that's not the case and it keeps going. But I think this was always a concern that even though he's scoring every single game, it's not something that's going to be able to happen every single week in and week out. And you're going to have these games where he just kind of can't really get involved as much as he'd like to and as much as we'd like him to be. And I think this was an example of that. And, I'm not concerned. The guy is one of the best finishers in Europe right now. He's one of the best strikers we've ever had, and I'm not afraid to say that because the numbers speak for themselves and his performance speak for themselves. He'll be up there at the end of his career here with Arsenal. So, look, did he have a little bit of a slow game? Yeah, and I think he can tend to have those every once in a while. But I don't think it's much to be concerned about. I think when Lacazette comes back and we're able to hold up the play a little bit more and spread the ball out, when Tierney's there providing those crosses that we saw, hopefully he does that when he comes in, which I imagine he will. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, sorry. And stats, as you said about his stats, going into this game, he scored 17 goals in 17 games. It speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but it's also unsustainable, though. We can't expect him to score every single game.
I think Colin said on Monday night watch along, Aubameyang last he scored that goal on Monday.
Right.
Was the first player since the 97-98 season. The first player to score at least a goal in the first 8 games of the season, and that last person was Dennis Bergkamp.
There you go. Yeah, it's good company.
Yeah. And obviously Saka got the full 90 minutes today. Was you impressed with him today?
Yeah.
Up front with that free pivot.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him every time I've seen him on the pitch, and it's like it's really amazing how like the meteoric rise he's kind of had into the first team. This is an 18-year-old kid that we're seeing, that we saw last week, that we saw again. He's getting picked first. Look, the kid's talented. The kid's talented. And it's really exciting. And I'm. It's not like the sense I got when Iwobi came into the team either, because Iwobi had the talent, and he was kind of thrown in because of injury, similarly to what's happening now, arguably because of Lacazette. Otherwise, Aubameyang, I think, would be in that position. But I feel where we were, especially with maybe the manager situation at the time, and kind of the dullness of season after season, whatever you think about our former manager. I think that it's a little bit of a different situation here because, first of all, he's younger, and it seems like he's got everything that he needs to succeed. I think with Iwobi, we saw look, he's got the dribbling, he's got the athleticism. He was an exciting kind of forward player, but the end product was never there, and it never seemed to develop. And I think that we see much more shades of that ability, and that the thing that Iwobi maybe been lacking on that left-hand side. And I have no problem thinking if you put Saka in the midfield, which he was playing a lot today, deep, especially in the second half, or on the right side, I'm confident he'd be able to do a job, which is really exciting. So hopefully I'm right about him, but I think we got a real special player there.
Well, it's not just Saka when it comes to our youth players. We've got quite a hefty bunch this season. In Saka himself, Willock, Martinelli, who we've just brought in, who was playing the fourth or second division of Brazilian football.
Crazy story.
It's absolutely crazy. He's literally, the games he's played, aside from today, even today, he looked threatening when he came on for the last 20 odd minutes. We've got Smith Rowe. We've got a fantastic. They all seem to thrive off of what this chance they've been given by not only Unai himself, but the fact that Freddie Lundberg this summer has been promoted to an assistant manager. Someone who worked really close with him last year, so he knows, and he's telling them, these are the people, these are the players that I worked with, and these are the ones that I believe can push on and cement a spot in the first starting 11. Back in the pre-season, Freddie, Unai said that Freddie went to him and said it was this one player in particular. Even last year, Freddie went to him, no, you've got to take him back to the US tour, give him a chance, you'll be amazed at what he can do. Yeah. And he was proven right. And it's it's great to see these young players not only take the opportunity with both hands, but show the hunger and the passion that they have for the club that they've come through the academy with.
Yep.
Because as you said before, with Iwobi, he had the potential, but he never went forward, so to speak, and pushed on.
There was something missing.
Yeah, there was something missing. Whereas these players, you already see. There's a few games might be overhyping.
Yeah,
but there is that possibility that they can become more, not just this season, but in the further seasons ahead, not for the club and for their respective countries.
Yeah,
and we'll get the benefit of it.
Yeah, and you could tell the hunger's there too. I mean, you see them playing on the pitch, and they seem to work really well together, which I think is really interesting too. They obviously get on well, and it's not just that. Also, Willock looks excellent. I think that a lot of he's a really fast player. I mean, I think he doesn't get enough credit for how quick he could be, especially off the ball and pressing. We saw it today. So, and Martinelli as well. That kid's fast. Martinelli's fast. So.
I think after the Forest game, I was saying that people, you wouldn't think this kid is an 18-year-old kid just from the slums of Brazil.
Crazy.
That's come to us literally a few months ago.
And just think United.
The way he plays, the way he plays, and the way he finishes is a fully fledged professional footballer. Very an accomplished footballer.
Very polished. Yeah, and just think that United let him go because they didn't think he was good enough.
Oh well. Oh damn it! Could have helped him out, but no. They can suffer intent.
Exactly. This is icing on the cake.
The fact they think that or believe Rashford was better than Martinelli, and
They thought,
obviously he's
hold on. They thought Rashford was better than
clearly
Aubameyang at one point. There was comparisons. Will Rashford score more than Aubameyang? They're like, I remember all those things on Twitter and like people like all these polls coming out, and it was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
One's a Golden Boot winner.
Yeah,
one's
it's ridiculous.
an England international.
Yeah. No, well, look, and there's something to be said about you know the way that the media treats English players specifically, and there's a reason for it. I get it, like, but and they easily, when they're not doing well, they to their credit, they'll get chastised just as bad. But you know, it's like it's both sides of the scale. There's no medium. It's either one extreme or the other. Either they're getting way too inflated as the best player, and there's nothing that can go wrong with them. Or if they've fallen out of favor, it's like they're the worst player. You know, they're like everything that's going wrong in the English national team is their fault. Anyway, that's another conversation.
Oh yeah, well, especially look at Raheem Sterling a couple of years last year, and going into the World Cup, he was getting slated left, right, centre for having a tattoo of a gun on his leg. How dare he? He's inciting bloody what's name? Yeah. Not really. When actually the reason behind it was what it was in memory of his dad.
Right.
But oh no, we've got to make a story out of it. Go this route. It's like, but he's used. The thing is, where he is because of manager, the coach he's under, for Pep, they've harnessed that. And he's made him a fucking cracking player.
Yeah, just imagine if Martinelli was English. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah.
Just imagine what would be happening right now.
They'll be losing their fucking minds.
They'll be losing their minds right now.
Oh dear. Talking of losing minds, Tottenham.
And United, both of them. I mean, Brighton. To their credit, they had to play 3 teams. They had to play Brighton, Hove, and Albion. So, so they got 1 goal for each of them.
Oh dear! I've been waiting for this for so long. I thought it would come last year, but it sort of held off until the tail end. And when you look back, it's sort of that March time. That's when things started falling apart for them. I'm just loving it.
Yeah,
the media running out of excuses as well now.
Yeah, it's done. And look, you know, you could say like, well, yeah, a lot of people, why are we talking about Spurs? But the reality is that it directly correlates to how we're viewing our results and the context of our season. And when you're looking at what's happening to Spurs now, when you're looking about what everyone was saying about them the last couple seasons, what they were saying about United and Ole's at the wheel, and this is what's happening to them, and this is what they're going to be doing. They're going to be building this team. And look, they're Champions League finalists. Like, look, they did great in the Champions League last season, but it was just like a couple bad performances away from them slipping out, and they barely made it to the finals, like by the skin of their teeth. Like Lucas Moura just came out, literally out of the skin, like his shoelace got them into the final, and like that's how precarious their situation there was. And like you said, it's been we've just been waiting for it to happen, and it's happening in a spectacular fashion, and long may it continue, because I think that when you actually we might have not the greatest performances right now, but we're getting the results. Exactly. And I want the performances. I want them. You want them. Every Arsenal fan wants them. But look,
ended it up like Kenny Ken says. We're in the results game. The results count more than anything else.
Kenny's a smart man.
Literally, as it stands, the performances look bad at the moment. But long till we're getting results, I can't really go too much into. Oh God, here we go. Because we're getting results. We're getting the 3 points. We're getting over the line. Things that on years gone by we've been accused of by the media that we can't. We haven't got the muscle, the mental stability to get over the line and get these results week in, week out. Totally. We're now doing that. And it's great to see, because what makes it even better is that Tottenham obviously moved into their new stadium, and they're now having the crash and fall that we've had in recent years straight into the new stadium. We had a few years of good times.
We won trophies. Even during that whole period, we were still winning.
Yeah, even at our worst, we won 3 FA Cups.
Right.
At their best, they've won nothing.
Oh yeah, their best. It is literally the golden year of Spurs. It has been for the last couple of seasons, if you believe everything everyone's saying, and it's literally been this tumultuous transition for us. Yet, like yet we're sitting 1 point off second right now, almost ahead of City. Even though our performances aren't that great, when you look at who they played, look at who United played, look at who we played: Liverpool, Spurs, United. Well, I guess if you consider how they're playing, that's not that great of opposition.
But the stature, as in size of
Yeah.
the clubs, where compared to what Man City have had to play. And all that.
Absolutely. So it's all about context. That's what I'm saying. It's all about context. When you're looking at what's happening to Spurs right now and United, and we can laugh and it's great. And then you look at, we're not in that bad of a position, and that might change. But for now, at least going into the international break, we can at least enjoy ourselves.
Well, exactly, and just touching on that, going into international break, there's the perfect time for certain players that are not going away for international duty, just to take the rest, not completely rest, but like get back into training and then just take an easy week and then hit back on for the second week before the next load of games kick in.
Totally.
Because now we've got ahead of us in winter coming ahead of us. We've got to play Liverpool in the cup.
Oh, yeah.
Even though they should be kicked out of the cup because of what they've done. Anyone else would have been kicked out, but no, because it's Liverpool. We'll continue. So, my days.
Yeah, and look, and there's a lot to be happy about. I mean, there's more chance for. I'm really glad that we haven't used Bellerin and Tierney unless we absolutely had to, or Holding as well.
We're sort of easing them in.
We're going to ease them in. I think that we're going to start seeing them a lot more after the international break. So we have that to look forward to. We have Lacazette potentially coming back. We already saw pictures that he's in full training. They said October he'll be back. So this is about that time where we'll start easing Lacazette in, hopefully. And, look, going into December, we might have
a fully fed strength squad.
Which I don't remember the last time we've ever been able to say that about an Arsenal squad going in. And this is touch wood that it stays that way, because I'm really concerned about Aubameyang and how much we've been utilizing him. I mean, he's been playing a lot of football, so touch wood. But I think that we'll be in a good position, hopefully.
Yeah, and that was one thing that worried me when Lacazette said he's taking a month off to sort his ankle out and all that. That obviously Aubameyang would be absolutely playing at every game. Which then surprised me when he didn't start on Thursday. The fact he got brought in for the last 10-15 minutes, that sort of, I would have sort of messed him up just in case, because it would have been just to throw him on for them for 10-15 minutes and sign Kavan, and then we're buggered for today.
For sure,
it would have come back and bit us some way.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been fun at all.
It's just the Arsenal. It would just be the typical Arsenal way. But as you said, it's nice to see, because years gone by, we've brought players back too early. It's like, this is a set date, and we go. This is and that literally, instead of easing them in, like it's happened to Kieran and Hector and Holding, we're sort of just we used to first throw them in straight from the off, give them the 90 minutes straight away, bang, and obviously then there'll be relapses and back to square one again. I'm happy that we're taking our time, especially they've all had major surgery. There's two of them have had ACLs, and obviously our new signing came in after having a double hernia. But from what I've seen of Tin, even though again we are easing him in, he hasn't looked out of place when he has played. He does look so much better than what we've had in so long as left back.
Absolutely, and it's one of those. He makes the right decisions. That every time when he needs to press the ball, he seems to do it. When in your head, because you watch the game and you're thinking, I want this player to do this right now. You could see and then he'll do something sometimes where I'm not even thinking about it, and then after I see him do it, it's like, oh wow, yeah, that was the right thing to do right there, or all of a sudden, you're wanting, I want him to beat the player to the byline. And he'll take one touch, and the way he accelerates, just that little short acceleration that he does when he's on the left, when he'll kick the ball forward and then go towards the byline, is that how good he is at that is met only by how good he seems to be at being able to cross the ball and put it into a good position in the box, which it's just like mouth-watering if I was a striker and I'm seeing that. So I really can't wait for him to get back.
And also, Tim, he's not all about this constantly cut back, pass back. He'll, as you said, he will run at you. He'll push you to the very edge.
Yeah,
and his crossing is nigh on, even though he's again coming back from an injury, spot on.
Oh yeah.
And again, Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Martinelli, they're all five off that once he's fully fit back in the squad and brings it going.
Yeah,
it's something we need going into a busy period as well, because let's be honest, it's going to get busy after the international.
Yeah.
with Europa League Cup, Premier League. Oh, the joys! And then
Yeah, but we're going to see the youth players play a lot this season, which I'm really excited about.
yeah, and as we touched on before, it's
Yeah.
great to see them take the opportunity
For sure.
and feed off, and they're feeding off the hunger that you can see. The hunger, as I said before, the feeding off it, because the fans are more hyped up for the games when they see these players, and they feel that, and they see this because of social media, and when they're there, and they're feeding off it. Any any good challenges they do, it's literally they feed off that even more. And Joe Willock, what is it? He started scoring goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic, and again, it's great to see our youth actually prosper now. Because for years we had that spell where it's now we're going back up. We're literally going back, and we pretty much have a starting 11 of what 5 or 6 players. They wouldn't look out of place.
Yeah, and it's one of the first times I think that the hype around our youth players is actually justified. And I think that, and it's not just one player, because it's usually just like one, maybe 2 players that were like, oh, look at it, it was like Walcott at one point, it was Jack Wilshere at one point, but like now, Oxlade-Chamberlain, like, look, these are good players in their own right, and they have their own qualities, and you can think whatever you want about them. But right now, it's almost like you don't know where to look first when you're on the pitch with these young players, like how good they're doing. And I don't think it's overhyping them either. I think that maybe saying like they're the best players in the world, like they have a long way to go, and they still have a lot to prove. But I mean, the promise is there, and I think that the hype in that regard is totally justifiable at this point.
Oh, hands down. And again, I'm just loving it as an Arsenal fan, and like you are. That we can now justify hyping up our youth academy at the moment, because we're getting the fruits of the loin, basically, in that, with all due respect. Yep. Was it? I say, what did you make of our pair? Obviously, Luis Socrates pairing again today haven't really clicked, and I've been saying it God knows how long. But no, and we're persistent with it. What did you make of them as a pairing together? Was you at all concerned at any point?
I mean, so here's the thing. With them, I'm kind of always concerned that there's always a penalty in there somewhere. But I guess you could say that a lot about a lot of defenders. So I'm not going to say anything in that regard. We can't fault Luis for his performance today. I mean, he scored the winning goal that got us 3 points in this game. I thought he was very, very composed, and I thought that he added a lot going forward from a defense perspective, let alone just how he actually defended in terms of tackles, interceptions, clearances, things like that. So with me, at least in terms of this game, I don't think Bournemouth really offered that much. When you're looking at what the actual stats are, you look at the expected goals for both teams. I think ours was like 1.2 XG, and theirs was 0.6. I think for this match, so they really weren't creating that many chances. I think that you could say, look, maybe that's because our midfield was fairly structured well. That Guendouzi was doing his job right, and Xhaka was sweeping up whatever came in front. It wasn't just like him sitting alone in front of the defense. There was actually like somewhat of a partnership going on, and that could be maybe because of how Bournemouth are playing. But in terms of that partnership, we've seen it not work, and we've seen it work like today. And it's really going to be a question of, over a long period of time, is it better than it isn't? If it's better than it isn't, we need to make sure that it keeps going forward. My problem with it is just that I think I'm just not convinced that they are the ones that are going to be able to bring us through the rest of the season. I think once Holding's fit, the manager should and probably will start bringing him into the team. I don't know whether he'll switch him out for Luis or Socrates. I'm not quite sure right now, but I just don't see that partnership lasting the full season. And you could disagree with that, but I'm just.
I totally agree. I'm just on that then. If you was Emery, holding back, which one would you take out if it was up to you?
So here's the thing. I think that this partnership, Luis and Socrates, can work in certain matches. I think at home against a team like Bournemouth, where they're already, we know that their goal threat is like iffy. That it's going to be their set pieces is where they're going to score a lot of and Wilson obviously, but we can control him, so we can have two big physical defenders that are able to defend against set pieces, stuff like that. I think that that's a valid tactic going forward. I think that it's gonna depend on who we're playing as to whether the manager is could and should switch out Holding for Socrates or Louise. I think if the game's going to be a little bit more physical and we're going to need to be a little bit more attack minded, I would switch Holding and Socrates, so that we have Louise, who's a little bit more of an attack minded defender, and that we have Holding, who's a little bit more all well-rounded, at least from what we've seen. Obviously, it's early days, and but it's promising. We've seen some good stuff from Holding. I don't think he's the answer to our defensive worries, but at the same time, we need to figure, can he come in and do a job, and if so, in what position, and what qualities will he bring that will be different from the other defenders that we have. So yeah, in one sense, depending on how the manager wants to play, I think he could switch it out both. I don't think it's going to be like a 1-for-1 for the rest of the season kind of a thing,
Yeah, again, I have to agree with that. You touched on it already about your thoughts on Xhaka. As captain, obviously, we know he's going to play most of the games this season. I've said it before, it's not my first choice of captain.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Apparently the players voted for it, so we've got to suck it up, basically. The midfield, and again, this touches into Emery's on another question as well.
Okay.
Emery, obviously, he's now, because whatever formation he does, he's got a headache in that midfield because he's got so much talent to pick from. With Willett, Ceballos, Xhaka, Torreira, Guendouzi, the list is endless in our midfield. Is this midfield he started today arguably, in your opinion, our best midfield, or would you say there's another combination that's better? Personally, I think obviously being Xhaka's going to be one of the three because he's captain. Great. In my opinion, you'd have to then say going by form for the other two, Guendouzi and Willock on form.
Yeah. So for me, ideally, I would like, and I here's the thing: we haven't seen it as much, but given our run of fixtures, and I'll get back to your question about the form, because the answer I'm about to give is not to do with any of the form. It's prefaced by the fact that we haven't really seen it as much. But one that I would like to see a lot more is Guendouzi, Ceballos, and Willock. I would like
but obviously because Xhaka's now captain.
Assuming we don't play Xhaka, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
I think we will play Xhaka. I think I think he gets a lot of fair criticism, but I think he gets a lot of unfair criticism as well. Yeah. I think that he's, first of all, he does help out a lot, especially in set pieces and defensive set pieces. I think that's like part of his game that goes pretty by the wayside. He can pull the strings really well when there's not as much pressure. When there's a little bit more pressure, he tends to struggle a little bit more. But on form, it has to answer your question, has to be Xhaka. Yeah, not only is he the captain, but Emery keeps playing him, and we haven't lost a game. We've only lost one game this season, so there is something to be. And it was considering the loss. Yeah, so at the end of the day, you got to say, all right, he's not my favorite player. He makes stupid mistakes sometimes. I think he gets some unfair criticism. He gets some fair criticism. But should he be in the midfield right now? Yeah, probably. Which is not ideal, maybe for a lot of people. But if the question is purely on form, he's going to do his Xhaka things. He did it today. He gave away 2 free kicks. He puts his hand up in the air and does his Xhaka thing. So he's going to do that. I would really like to see Willock in there because I think he offers a lot of pace. Ceballos is just basically seems like Ramsey reincarnated, but with like a little bit of like Spanish flair. He's definitely more of an 8 than a 10, I think. Ceballos is. So look, and then Torreira, that's the interesting one for me. I think Torreira is the interesting choice, and what position he plays better. Should he be more of an attacking? Because I think a lot of people get a little bit misinformed about how Torreira was actually employed, at Sampdoria. So I think when you actually look at how he was played, though he led the league in tackles, he was definitely more of an attacking kind of minded player than a kind of a disruptive defensive midfielder, which a lot of people want him to be for Arsenal. So, it's a weird situation in terms of that midfield. There's a lot of movement. I think right now the midfield is the most uncertain thing that we have in terms of who should play week in and week out. So it's a little bit difficult to ultimately determine who would be there. I'm with you though. I like to see that midfield.
Yeah, again, that would be that would, because you've got so much gone in that midfield. Then you've got the youth in the energetic side of it. You've got their track back as well. They do everything he wants, and they push forward as well. Going forward, they will push forward, but also they cover themselves. They communicate as well. Yeah. Especially when dudes. I've seen for somebody who just turned 20. We bought when he was 18. Just turned 9. No, bought when he was 19. He just turned 20. He's got a lot of hot-headedness about him sometimes in certain games. So it's slowly sort of dripping out of it. We're sort of getting rid of that. But at the same time, there are certain aspects of his game that are very of a mature sort of player type. You wouldn't. This is a go. When we signed him, do you honestly think that we'd be playing him this much, this often, that it'd be this much of a hit?
No. I mean, I didn't know who he was, and I think most Arsenal fans. I would be confident saying most Arsenal fans didn't know much about him. And I'll tell you, when he started off and he started playing, I really could not see what his role was. I could not see what his role was. I could not see. I thought, this kid he's having an issue with his defensive discipline, his positional discipline. He's leaving Xhaka stranded, but it's starting to work out now, and he's starting to get a sense of where he needs to be on the pitch, and it's starting to work. And the kid just doesn't stop, and he does not stop the entire game. It's unbelievable.
Still going now.
Yeah, he's probably still running laps and suicides on the pitch. Like, he's got the engine on the kid is unbelievable. He wins fouls all the time. He's always getting stuck in. He always and look, he'll make mistakes. He's a young player, but he definitely is one that has surprised me. And I think a lot of people started hyping him up early, and I thought it was a little too early. But right now, I mean, he's a good player, and I'm really excited to see he's unshakable. I haven't seen him shook once. I haven't seen him shook once.
What's especially going into this season with Guendouzi, what's made me happy? So I say happy is that when the things not going our way in a certain match, like Aston Villa, for example, most recently, backs against the wall, things aren't going away. He's literally getting the ball. He's literally grabbing the game by the so-called balls and basically trying to enforce the issue, which obviously eventually did work, got us back into the game. Evidently, it wasn't his fault that obviously our defence decided to switch off 60 seconds later, but the aspects, again, it's of a experienced, fully seasoned professional footballer, not someone who's literally just come into the game in the last year and a half. And again, Tottenham, arguably his best game this season, from the first second to the end, non-stop, dictating, communicating, doing things, and working space. And his assist for the equaliser against that lot was exquisite.
Yep,
absolutely sublime. We're now going into 40-odd minutes, or 43 minutes. I'm like, you can't be on for much longer.
Yeah.
But we're eight games. We've got 30 league games left. How are you feeling when it comes to the league? Do you think we can sneak the top third, fourth spot, or do you think we'll fall off again?
No, I think we're going to finish in the top four. First of all, I think that we have a shot of finishing second, given how we're 1 point right now. I don't think we're going to overtake City. Okay, I don't think it's going to happen as much as I'd like it, and it's it's a possibility we could do it.
Imagine the media if we did do that though.
If we did that, it would be absolutely look, if we're really going to say it, 9 points isn't too far off. That's not that big.
Let's go for fuck it.
Let's just let's let him focus on the double, winning the Champions League again, and then. I mean, wouldn't that be the best if all of a sudden we come out of nowhere and end up winning? We're not going
to do a Leicester in 2016.
Yeah, it pretty much be that. Look, I'm not gonna.
We're joking, by the way.
Yes, please. I do not think we're gonna win the league, for the record. But we could. No, I'm just
Mathematically.
yeah. But for real though, I think that I think City's going to steer the ship together. It's just one blip. The talent that Pep has and the players on that team. It's just, is it possible? Yeah, it's just it's unlikely. I think Chelsea are kind of doing a lot better than they thought they would. I think that this transfer ban might actually help them in the long run. I think that these youth players coming through and what Lampard's doing is a lot better than a lot of people thought he was going to be able to do with it. Especially, he was a little bit shaky starting off. So, they seem to really be pulling it together and making it happen. I think Leicester is a little bit of a dark horse here. I think that they're going to be pushing for top four more than Spurs right now. I think they're our biggest rival going into top four, which is weird saying.
Yeah.
And
who would have thought that?
Look, Rodgers is doing. I mean, look, their side is not. They just signed that defender and that we were linked with for like 20 million or whatever. Like, the kid's a general, man. That guy is he is a good player, and I think it's really helped them. And they lost Drinkwater, but it hasn't really helped United that much, so it couldn't be that much of a loss. So look, I think we're going to finish top four. I think it's going to be partially based off of how crap some of our rivals are. But where some of them have fallen off, like United and Spurs, others have kind of stepped up that we didn't think would, like Chelsea and Leicester. So the race is still there. The question is, I can only imagine it gets easier for us based off of the players that we have returning. Lacazette, Holding, Tierney, Bellerin. I can only imagine it get easier for us to push for that top four spot. So I think ultimately we'll get there.
Especially since we've got players coming back, and we've got, and unlike most of these teams are rivals that are meant to be better than us. Right. We've actually got a strike force that can score goals.
Yeah,
between them.
Yep,
literally, and they work off each other as well. They have this brotherhood going off the pitch as well. Two of them at the moment.
Yep. There's another one. Now there's Tierney and Bellerin. They seem to be doing this. They have this little.
That's fantastic. Because that hopefully that can work up front. Sure.
Yeah.
Imagine what we can have in our fullback roles. Looking back to the last time we had decent fullbacks, in my opinion, was Lauren at right back and Ashley Cole. Since we never had that proper solid fullback role of that ilk until now, hopefully.
Yeah. It would be great to be able to replace Ashley Cole because all respect to Monreal. I think he was an excellent defender for us. Yeah, he was absolutely great, and I think that Backer. Maybe he's the only other wing back I could think that put in as consistent performances as Monreal has in our recent past. So he did great, but you just see the promise that this Tierney kid has, and it doesn't look like he's phased by the transition to the Premier League so far. So it's early days with him, but it's definitely promising.
You wouldn't think he played in the SPL where it's over in England really slated. Rightly so, because it's literally it's a one-team league until today. Yeah. When that one team got battered to relegation.
Now it's the Rangers are there somewhere. So
there's a two-race apparently. Yeah, like the good old days.
Yeah. Now it's a two-team league, kind of.
Kind of. Oh, Dave. So in my opinion, 8 games in, is in our hands really.
Yep.
It's all down to us when it comes to top 4. I think we will, but it's down to the players this time. They can't. They do what they did last year in the last 8 games of last year and bottle it. There's no coming back from it. The fans will not.
No, that's it for him.
That happens. The questions will be asked. I've said myself.
No.
A few weeks ago on this channel and on other channels as well. If we can't get top 4 this season, 3rd or 4th, with team, and it's before Tottenham had meltdown, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
With Chelsea in the transition period with Lampard. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all over the place. 1 week he's great, 1 week he's fantastic, 1 week he's absolutely appalling. Get rid of him, sack him, this, that, and the other. And you've got other teams flirting with us, but not consistent enough. And if we can't get top 4, questions they've got to be asked of the head coach because he's been back. What people say with what signs we've made, he's been backed by the board. Josh is backed. Josh, Raul, Vinay and Edu have got together and this summer have backed him financially, and he's got to get the results now.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, with this ball that we've got now, this setup, they are ruthless enough to say if things aren't going where they want them to go.
Right.
They will do what the previous one man board didn't do before and get rid of the person.
Yeah, and I think
look forward.
I totally agree, and I think that it's going to be dependent on his the results that he gets. The only difference, I think, that it's just getting back into the Champions League.
Yeah.
So let's say
if he doesn't get that.
Yeah. So if he doesn't finish the top four, just to clarify, I think that that's going to be an issue. But if he wins the Europa League and doesn't get the top four, I think okay, fine, whatever.
Sort of balances it out.
Yeah. I think just that is his goal, though, and I think that's. I really just see that as his kind of his limit as to what he could offer this side. And it's not. Look, I'm not like I'm not disparaging the guy, but I really need to like assess as a fan where I think he could take this team, and I just see that as being the limit. So take that at what you will going forward, but I think that if he does not get us into the Champions League, some serious questions, if not already reasonably being asked, must be asked of him.
Yeah, I've just had someone in the chat asking where Simon is. Honestly, I have no idea. He said he was coming on, and I've sent him a link to this, and he hasn't read it or seen it, so I don't know. I'll have to get hold of him later for another show. Okay. Yeah, hope so. But yeah, I'll try and chase him up and get him on for another show after the international break. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up now. Obviously, you got to go soon, so thanks for coming on, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Where can people find you on social media so they can follow you, and if they haven't already?
Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter at 305cast. I did the Arsenal Miami podcast. I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm also on Gooner Talk TV with Tom and Matt and all those, Kenny and all those guys over there. So yeah. Oh yeah. So you can find me at 305cast on Twitter.
Yeah, and I'll also, when I sort this out later, I'll try and put these links to his Twitter into the description later on. And yeah, we're going to take a couple of weeks off now because it's international break, all the joys. But I will be doing what amongst the Rugby World Cup, because obviously home nations and all that. England have already qualified for the quarterfinals. This is fantastic. I think I can watch the game easy next week.
That's the key, right? Now that we got the win today. We're sitting pretty in the league. United are shambles right now. Spurs are shambles right now. We're doing all right. Listen, we're doing all right. We can relax the next 15 days.
I mean, it says something when Spurs' downfall is making our downfall look like a pebble in the pond sort of thing.
Oh yeah,
nothing.
Their best season was like the banter era with Menger. So like, look, it's great. We're not that bad right now. Yes, the performances could be better, and we whatever, fine. But we're in a good position.
Results gaming. That's
results. That could change. So there's that nagging little feeling about how we've been playing and what could happen. But for now, going into the international break, one step at a time. Good.
90 minutes after 90 minutes, and we just take it from there. When it's going to get serious, it's December. But until then, we can just risk easy and take it game by game and try and get the result.
Exactly.
It could be absolutely appalling performance-wise, but as long as we get the 3 points, we don't care. As long as we're pulling away from that lot down the road and Man United up there, we're pulling further away from them. I do not care.
Oh yeah, my United. I have a friend who's like one of my close friends. He's like a massive United fan, and he's just gone on radio silent all day. I've been just sending him memes for like an hour.
Anyway. I've literally not long got before I set this up, so I've had no chance. I'm next door neighbour to Chelsea fan, so I can't be going to him at the moment. But I'm waiting. I'm edging because even he was one of them Chelsea fans that are a bit sceptic about Lampard in the sense of he's had one season and you're throwing him into this job. Without a transfer ban, it's a bit of a risk, and even now he's a bit on edge because it could fall apart at any moment now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I've got fans. I've got friends that are Tottenham fans and Man United fans, and I'm just waiting to go right. Bang! Remember absolutely. Have you seen the meme of Rio Ferdinand that's gone out today?
I tweeted it out too. This
Give
is
him the time.
We're back, baby.
We're
Really?
back.
Are you though? Are you?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
going for the stats of every. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. This is what it's about, you know. And it's one of the. I remembered I was on a group chat and we're going, look, there's no way Newcastle are going to win this, right? Like that'd be too perfect, right? Like, they're not. I said
a perfect weekend.
Yeah, it was great. It was City lost. Not that it really matters, but it does a little.
Shock result though.
Yeah, it would be. Very shocked. It would have been nicer if Leicester drew with Liverpool, and I think that was with that penalty decision. It was just I don't know, whatever, fine.
I watched it. Not even on Match of the Day over here, but literally on. Everyone's putting out clips like how's this a penalty? It's literally. Who was it? Brighton threw a limb at thin air. Didn't even touch Mane, and he just threw himself to the floor and got a penalty. But the thing is, that what's annoying is that VAR is meant to stop all this sort of diving and cut people out for this.
Yeah,
but clearly not. It's clearly still favouring certain teams.
Yeah, yeah.
And yet today, Pepe got fouled. Actually fouled. Rugby tackled nearly.
Yeah,
not a penalty. And that went to VAR as well.
There's a lot of debate on that, and like whether it bounced off him and it was going away from goal, but like
either way, he still went in and tried tackling him.
Yeah, it was a rugby tackle. Like that's if that was Arsenal, we'd get that penalty. That would be a penalty.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it would be. We'd be even where it would have been ridiculous. It would have been easy. Imagine Louise or Socrates making that challenge. That's a penalty.
You like to say that literally Louise's first full game for Arsenal at Anfield. Cook does that. He literally just grabs a piece of shirt. That's a penalty.
Yeah, look, and I could see maybe people coming on both sides of it. I personally think it was a clear-cut penalty, but
it was a clear penalty. But the fact is, the consistency is so even with VAR is absolutely appalling.
100%, and I think it's an inherent problem with with a rule system that's based off of the subjective view of the ref and whether it needs to be clear cut to overturn them. Because whether something's a penalty or not, unless it's like absolute, like studs up in the box, knocking a player over, it's going to come back to the ref. And the ref's going to make their determination of it. And unless, maybe he thought the contact wasn't enough to be a penalty. And when it's kind of like on the fence like that, they're never going to overturn it. So it's going to be inconsistent between different games because it's going to be different refs. It's going to be different situations. And then even with VAR, it's always going to be a possibility that you get inconsistent results. Just look at Liverpool, look at this game. So, that's what it is. I guess we kind of have to look at
it. In my opinion, I think VAR just in Premier League alone, it's been implemented into the league completely the wrong way. Because I'm a huge rugby fan, rugby union, and I've watched it for years where they have a video ref, their version of it. But it's literally, for example, say there's a high tackle in a game now because of new rules and all that. The ref might have it in his mind. Yeah, I've made a decision, but I'm going to go in my piece. I'm going to go upstairs, check right now. Am I right in doing this? This is what I want to do.
Right.
But if I'm wrong, can you please tell me and tell me where and guide me the right way? So there's no. It is what it is, and it was a handball rule as well. Now, if a corner comes in and the attacking team handballs it, it's a free kick, even if it's accidental. But if it's the other way around, not a penalty. Continue playing.
Listen,
this is what the FA does.
I'll defer to you because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, like, a lot of it doesn't make sense. And it's penalty calls in general are just bizarre sometimes. I mean, did you see that Leeds United Millwall? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get a chance, say that, like, and it was a straight red. It was a straight red card too. And Leeds tweeted out going, we're going to be appealing this on Monday. Yeah, it's just, look, it's inconsistent. I think you summed it up perfectly. It's inconsistent. It's going to remain that way, and no one's ever going to be happy one way or another. So right now, it didn't end up affecting us negatively. It probably will at some point. And then I'm sure we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, when we play Liverpool in a couple, Man City in the league at some point in the next few weeks, it's bound to go against us for some bizarre reason. Literally, grieve there like penalty.
Right.
But yeah, obviously again, wrap up again. Thanks for coming on anyway. Obviously, as I said before, I'll be putting your link in the description later on, so everyone can follow you. If they haven't already,
perfect.
Follow you. And obviously, if you don't you haven't already, go to the Gooner Talkie. Most of the time, you're on there with Tom and Ola, Kenny Ken,
Yeah.
etc. Again, have another fantastic Arsenal channel, sad podcast. Great, fantastic content. I'll watch it every time it goes up. I'm watching it.
Yeah, Tom works really hard on that, so it's good.
He grinds away.
He does. It's impressive.
But for the next couple of weeks, we're gonna rest easy and be happy, and until obviously the next one, up the Arsenal.
Money Gunners.